And no, your eyes do not deceive you. We are back live here at DETV in Wilmington. It's DETV Sports, and no better time to return than here in the midst of NFL free agency. And look who I found wandering the streets here in Wilmington as we welcome back the one and only Jason McCall. Jason, thanks for returning here as we kick off a new season of DETV Sports, but 2 out of the 3 of us are here tonight. Again, Matthew Maurer will be returning here in the upcoming week. So again, Matthew Maurer fans, don't worry, Matthew is still here. But
Matt,
Jason,
miss you,
great to have you back here. And here we go, kicking off another season here on DETV Sports after a little hiatus. So we are thrilled to be back here live from our studios here in Wilmington. Jason, how's everything going here since the last time that we sat across from each other?
Man, a lot of things have changed. But it's good to be back home. You know, back in the building. You know, the lights, the floor, the smell, everything. You know, it makes you feel welcomed. No, but honestly, it's been an up and down hiatus away. You know, I had some ups, had some downs. You know, but we're back, man. I'm here. I'll talk about this lovely free agency that we've been experiencing so far. So, you know, excited to get back in the saddle and get to work, man.
That's right. It's showtime here. Also, obviously, Dennis Pritchett back with us running the show there behind the glass. We are going to have our Dennis's question of the day as we get forward a little bit later on into the show. So a lot to still come here tonight. We got an action-packed episode, so we might as well dive right in. So we are back, and let's talk a little bit about NFL free agency. But before we get there, Jason, a lot happened during the regular season. We were not on the air to recap the Super Bowl. How about the Seattle Seahawks? Who would have thought that me, you, Dennis, Matthew would have ever had an idea that Sam Darnold would be a Super Bowl champion? But boy, did he look good in Clint Kubiak's offense this year. It helps when you have an offensive player of the year in Jackson Smith-Njigba, who was fantastic for Seattle. The run game was working. But overall, initial reaction to the Super Bowl performance from Seattle and what Darnold and company were able to do here over there this year in Super Bowl 60.
I mean, I feel like every time Seattle plays in the Super Bowl, it's like a drubbing, kind of like a boring game. Every time they've won, it's been like that. But no, that was an exceptional showing by the Seahawks. And that was really without JSN really having an impact on the game.
So he was out for a while.
That was mostly Kenneth Walker and Sam Darnold just picking the spots wisely, and the defense showed up in an amazing way for Seattle in the Super Bowl. But I was talking to friends. I was saying that before the playoffs started, I felt like whoever won the NFC West was going to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I was proven right.
Home field advantage, right, in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like the NFC West, they had it. They had something this year with the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Niners that no other division, no other team could really capture up in a bottle. So I knew that whoever won that division will come out the NFC, and they won. And it was a little glass slipper run by the Patriots. One Bo Nix not broken ankle away from not being there, but they made it. So great season for them. Drake May got the Super Bowl and got caught in the headlights, but you got there. A lot of people can't say that still. My quarterback still can't say it. So
that's good.
I can't talk too much. But no, it was a Super Bowl was overall great showing. My biggest takeaway from the NFL season that just passed was parity. A lot of parity in the NFL. You have a Ravens team that went from 0-5 to 5-5 to still being in the hunt, and then making it then a fluke wide left. At the end of the season, but
yeah, how about that to lose the division?
Somebody turned the fans on, at that kick. But
wish we would have had an episode the day after that one for you. It's not too often that you get a show or a season where the Ravens, don't have that success or don't make the playoffs. So again, they're going to be looking for that to come back next year, and we're going to talk about them here shortly because they made a big move a few days ago. Not to mention they're going through a coaching change, but that's still to come here. And as we progress, you talked about the NFC East and the Seattle Seahawks. So how do you like their odds next year coming in? I think they're a few spots below, I almost said St. Louis, the LA Rams, who are the favorites after their offseason digits. We will recap that as well and what they've done. Love what the Rams have done here in the offseason. We'll touch that a little bit. But Seattle, what do you like in their odds to repeat next year? Or
no.
Do the Rams additions have you leaning towards LA just a month after the Super Bowl?
I'm leaning towards San Fran.
San Fran, Matthew, where are you?
I'm leaning towards San Fran. I mean, we're going to it, but you can't add Mike Evans to that roster and not make them the prohibitive favorite. I know you have Matt Stafford and the continuity of him and Coach McVay in LA, but when you add a Hall of Fame wide receiver who's tied the longest stretch in NFL history of consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a big move. I don't care what you say. That's a big move. And I think for the Niners, because they didn't have the consistent number one all year long last year with Jennings trying to step up, but then you lose Debo to Washington, and of course the whole saga.
We don't know what's going on with Brandon Ayuk. Right
Brandon Ayuk. So I mean, they played well without a true number one. Now you have a true number one, and all of your other complementary pieces can fall back into their natural spots, and it creates a natural depth chart where everyone knows their role and not trying to do more than what they were asked to do.
Yeah, and the reports came out a little bit early on about how he wanted kind of a Devontae Adams situation, wanted to go with a well-known play caller that has a lot of success, somebody that, again, can have them a chance at a Super Bowl. I mean, it fit the bill, all the things that Mike Evans was looking for. And, again, loved him in Tampa. They loved him in Tampa. He loved Tampa, but wanted to switch it up here late in his career. Now he has a chance to go to the Niners and Brock Purdy in that offense with Kyle Shanahan. To me, Jason, I don't know how you feel, Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, I think, in my opinion, are the two best play callers in the league. So now he gets to go to this offense, and the way that they're going to use him in the red zone, I think they're going to be able to free him up. Kyle Shanahan is a magician at creating matchups. He's going to create some matchups with Mike Evans down in the red zone where you're not going to be able to, or you're going to have to try to guard him maybe man-to-man or cover him man-to-man, and that doesn't always end well. I think he's going to be put in certain positions, maybe play inside, play outside. They're going to use him all over the field. I think it's going to be a huge addition. 3-year deal, $42 million for Mike Evans here to San Francisco. Love that move for them. And then Juwan Jennings is going to have to most likely find a new home also.
And the question on the board, can Seattle repeat as champions, as we've been talking about for the past few minutes here? No. I'll give you
so you're not even a chance, though.
I'll give you two reasons why.
Okay.
Your Super Bowl MVP plays for the Chiefs now.
And we will get a lot to get to.
And one of your top corners is coming here to Philly. So,
That's right. How about that? Tariq Woolen, a one-year deal just broke before we got on the air here today, or while we were on the air here to the Eagles. So then we'll talk about the Eagles here and all that they've done, all they didn't do here as we progress into the show. I think Seattle's got a good chance to repeat.
Even with the losses?
To your point, they have some losses there, but to your point, obviously the offensive coordinator going to have to, not know Clint Kubiak. He's gone head coach now for the Las Vegas Raiders, so you lose that aspect of it. Offensive line should stay intact. You got JSN. Shaheed is now back, as we talked about in the offseason. They were able to re-sign him, but they lose Kenneth Walker and a few pieces of that defense, as you mentioned, Tariq Woolen. But I think they got a chance. The defense still should return a lot of guys up front. That defensive line was dominant throughout the playoffs. Nick Eamon-Ward going to be heading into his second year. He may already be one of the best safeties in football alongside your boy down in Baltimore and Kyle Hamilton. But again, now it's time for Sam Darnold now after coming off that Super Bowl championship. People now not really underestimating him, right? They know what he can do. He's a Super Bowl champion. Can he answer the call next year? That's going to be the big thing. How's the offense look with the new offensive coordinator, a new running back room? Where do they go? Charbonnet's coming off an ACL. You mentioned Kenny Walker down with the Super Bowl champs. Not anymore. Freudian slip there for Kansas City. Been a few years. But he's in Kansas City. So where do they go to the running back position? They're going to have to make a move, right? With Charbonnet coming off that ACL, they need somebody to kind of be the starter in the offseason and going into the preseason and the regular season, depending on how Charbonnet's recovery goes. You never know how those things can go coming off a torn ACL. You're going to need somebody to get some carries there.
Who knows? Maybe they go steal another Raven and go get Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, non-tender, right, is coming off. Yeah. But how about this one? It seems Alvin Kamara is not happy now in New Orleans with the addition of Travis Etienne. Again, we'll get to all these big signings. I love Etienne going to the Saints there. 4 years, $52 million for Travis Etienne after being with Jacksonville off his rookie contract. Is there maybe an Alvin Kamara move here to Seattle to kind of lead the way until Charbonnet comes back? I think that'd be a good move for Seattle.
Quite possibly, but I'll throw a name out there that a lot of people haven't thinking about yet. Keep an eye on Aaron Jones.
That's right, free agent after being cut by Minnesota.
Keep an eye on Aaron Jones. He similar style to Kenneth Walker. Keep an eye on Aaron Jones. Catch out the backfield, powerful runner in between the tackles. Can pass block.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on Aaron Jones going to Seattle now.
And again, they're sticking with the NFC West. One of the reasons that Jason said he doesn't think Seattle will repeat is because of the division, right? San Francisco getting Mike Evans are going to add some pieces to that defense. They were banged up all year long. I assume they're going to be better this year if healthy. And then you talk a little bit about the LA Rams, who, again, that was kind of the rivalry this year. As you mentioned, back and forth, those teams went all year long in the regular season, at the end of the season to settle the division. And then, of course, in the playoffs with Seattle winning that game and then obviously going on to win the Super Bowl. But how about the additions for the Rams here? What was hurting them was the back end of that defense down the stretch. It killed them defense and special teams, back end and special teams. I mean, they couldn't overcome it, obviously, as we saw in the playoffs against Seattle. What do? They go and trade for maybe the best corner in the league. They give up that first-round pick that they got in the deal with Atlanta last year. That was kind of high highway robbery. I mean, we sat here afterwards and talked about how they traded, an extra first-round pick, the Falcons did, to the Rams just to get Pierce Jr. That's not looking too great right now with all he's got going off the field. So again, they give up that first-round pick, and now what do they get? They turn that or parlay that into Trent McDuffie, who some believe is the best quarterback in the league, maybe the most versatile, can play inside, can play outside. They give him his money. He's an LA native, so he returns home. Now the highest-paid corner in the league. And not only that, they go and get his teammate, Jalen Watson, who's a phenomenal corner, I guess a very good corner on the outside, and now that allows McDuffie to maybe move inside as well. I mean, all the coverage on the back end that they had issues with, they're kind of tightening up here. With Lakin getting healthy, and now you add Watson and McDuffie. That was kind of the weakness of the team. If they fix this special teams, I'm going to go with the Rams maybe next year.
I mean, and you wouldn't be wrong. I mean, with the additions you just named, I don't know if Trent McDuffie is the best overall.
He's in the discussion. He's in the discussion.
He might be.
If not, he's certainly paid.
He might be top 10 last year. Yeah, I don't know if he's like
top 10.
Top 10 overall.
Disrespectful to Trent McDuffie.
It is not. But I mean, what did he really do with Kansas City last year?
Last year, Kansas City had a lot of things they had to work out. It was a tough year. Travis Kelce, though, will be back.
He got his money, though. So Travis Kelce will only back because he has to pay for the wedding. That's all he brought back.
And one more year. They'll go one more year for Travis Kelce. But I love what the Rams did, assuring that defense there. And Stafford's going to be back for one more year, so we'll see how it goes. Puka, Devontae, and again, I love the way that run game was going down the year.
Scriptwriters might swan song for Stafford. Who knows?
And Devontae. Maybe they'll retire together after hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. We'll see what happens. But NFC West is going to be a lot of fun next year, especially as you mentioned with the addition of Mike Evans now in San Francisco. If that defense gets healthy and is able to be a little bit better, God, they were dreadful last year. Still able to beat the Eagles in the playoffs, though. But again, if they're able to fix that, that NFC West is going to be a gauntlet. And now you've got Matt LaFleur, the brother of Mike LaFleur over there, or Mike LaFleur, the brother of Matt LaFleur, now is the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. They've been making some moves. Maybe they're a little bit better next year. Not in the mix, I don't think, but you're going to get a little bit better. They announced Jacoby Brissett will be their starter heading into next year as well. So we don't spend too much on the Cardinals, but just wrapping up that NFC West.
Arizona Cardinals. What are you thinking? I don't.
They're not trying to win next year, right?
I don't get it. Like, you're going to cut Kyler Murray? Really? Like, what's going on here?
Well, let's talk about that now, just in terms of Kyler Murray. He has not signed yet, one of the quarterbacks that hasn't signed. So we'll touch on him before we get to some of these other signings then, now that you brought him up. Kyler Murray, free agent, cut by the Arizona Cardinals, been linked to the Minnesota Vikings, and the way that all these other signings have gone down, it tends to make you think that that is the way things are going to unfold. And again, now what happens to J.J. McCarthy, et cetera, but most likely going to be a one-year deal for Kyler Murray. Cardinals going to pay a lot of that salary, so you're going to get guys like Tua, like the Falcons did, and obviously Kyler at a big discount, only a couple mil that you're going to have to pay him to come in. And I'll tell you what, the Vikings, if that defense plays as expected with Brian Flores, is what we saw last year, and they're able to get Kyler Murray in that offense with KOC, Kevin O'Connell running the show there. I think that's a playoff team, 100%.
Listen, Kyler Murray throws one of the best deep balls in the league. You let him just release off his back foot to a streaking Jay Jettas down the sideline, that's must-see TV. Every game. But they have to address the running back situation, and they lost Naylor as well at wide receiver.
Well, that makes you think that you're right there. Going to have to make a move because you mentioned they cut Aaron Jones. Jordan Mason still under contract. He's most likely the starter here as of right now, but not going to do it right. You're going to have to add to that running back.
And he lost the wide receiver Naylor to the
Raiders. That's right. So again, Kyler Murray, I think Minnesota's the only option for him. I think it's the best option for both sides, and we'll see if it works out. But again, Minnesota with Kyler Murray, I think potentially a playoff team next year.
I agree.
There you have it. Let's keep it going here with some of the latest deals. And it starts with the center, Tyler Linderbaum, who reset the market for offensive linemen, especially interior offensive linemen. The most ever from an interior offensive lineman, by far the most ever for a center. He's getting paid tackle money. How about this? 3 years, $81 million. The franchise tag, which would have been with the Ravens for this year, would have been about 26. So he's able to up that and get 3 years. And when you think about it and you do the landscape of the NFL, a 3-year deal for $81 million, usually guys are locked up for 4 or 5 years. That's what teams want to do. Linderbaum gets a 3-year deal. He'll be a free agent again at 28 after making record money on this one. What do you feel? You guys lost your center in Baltimore, one of the best in the league. Clint Kubiak said he needed a quarterback for his offensive line, and so they went out and spent big. Did the Raiders? They had the most money in free agency, and they're using it.
Man, this is probably the biggest loss in Baltimore.
Love
seeing Linderbaum going. I mean, you're talking about, like you said, a guy in his prime of 25. Getting that kind of money. I can't knock the young man for getting his money. I mean, 3 years, $81 million for a center, for an offensive lineman.
It's never been done.
That's never been done. So we're going to miss you in Baltimore, but man, get your money, and you're going to Oakland. I mean, I'm sorry,
Vegas.
Vegas. Here we go, see?
We've been watching the NFL for many years.
Yeah, long time.
As you can see there. But Linderbaum, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yep, big one there for the Raiders. Again, they had to overspend, but it's something like you mentioned, like when you're a team that's maybe not great, you're going to have to overspend if you want some of those guys to come to your organization. But I'm all for it. I think this was good money well spent on Tyler Linderbaum. You need to shore up that offensive line that last year was just so bad it's hard to put into words. I mean, they were Ashton Genty couldn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. They averaged negative yards per contact last year for the run game. I mean, that's hard to do. Colton Miller goes down early, but they're able to make some additions here in the offseason, and it starts with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders' motto has changed from just win to just spin, baby. I mean, all in 3 weeks.
Just spin.
Just spin, baby.
$110 million to spend, and they certainly did so. We'll
spinning
recap some of the other moves that the Raiders did as we progress, because, again, Fernando Mendoza will be the guy here coming up as the number one pick. Oh, you're going to go on a tangent. I knew I shouldn't even. You're not a Mendoza guy, huh?
I love the fact that Indiana won the national championship.
As do I. Kurt Signetti, former Elon coach.
Shout out to Indiana. You know. Mm-hmm. But I don't see it.
You don't see it as in, like, first-round pick, or you don't see it as in he shouldn't be the number one overall?
I don't see it as in savior of a franchise.
So you think Kenny Pickett maybe, like that kind of, like you think he's that bad? Or
I'm not going to say he's that bad.
So Sam Darnold, maybe some of the struggles early could maybe put it together.
Yeah, I'm thinking Sam Darnold or even J.J. McCarthy struggles.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what, and again, I know it's been a while.
But it's still better than what they've had the last couple of years.
And I know Matthew and I sat up here. When I got back from the Combine that year watching J.J. McCarthy, and actually we were adamant that we wouldn't take J.J. McCarthy. And again, I never wished anybody to perform poorly. That's not how we operate, but it's just what we thought, and it has been a disaster so far in Minnesota.
We're proving ourselves right.
It's worked out for us, at least, if you want to throw it out that way. But to keep going here with some of these free agent moves, you mentioned Travis Etienne to New Orleans. Again, Alvin Kamara's future up in the air now with the Saints, but they go out and they get their guy in ascending offense for what they did. Kellen Moore leading them down the stretch. They were great the last 4 to 6 games of the year, winning a bunch of those games, and led by Tyler Shuck, who looked really good down the stretch as well. Yeah. And now they add Travis Etienne to the run game. They needed a running back bad. What do you think about the Saints next year in Dennis's Bucs division down over there in the NFC South?
They got a younger Alvin Kamara and Travis Etienne. I mean, let's they know what type of running back they want for that system. You pretty much just got a younger Kamara and Travis Etienne. And I mean, it's a home run for me in that offense.
I like it.
And the way he runs, I believe he's a better runner in between the tackles than Kamara. Kamara's more of an outside zone guy.
Both great in the pass game.
Great in the pass game. So, I mean, you're not losing anything. And at this point, Etienne might be faster than Kamara at this point in his career. So,
I think so too, yeah.
No, just age, but he might be faster now. So you might get the Alvin Kamara, say 2016 or something like that. You might get the older, when he was at his prime. You might get prime Alvin Kamara in Travis Etienne, which will work out well for us.
Say a team that needed a running back, right? I mean, injuries last year, couldn't even get anybody in the field. The rookie Devin Neal had to take a lot of those reps here down the stretch. Again, they were still able to win games. Kellen Moore had the offense rolling. Tyler Shuck looked like an actual starting franchise quarterback here down the stretch. And we'll see if that obviously continues into next year, because you never know towards these end of the seasons.
You got tape on them now. 1 year tape.
Yeah, exactly right. So again, coming out this year, you're going to see that's going to be a big movement for Tyler Shuck. But again, you have to like what you saw if you were a Saints fan there down the stretch. So they add Travis Etienne. Yeah, we keep it moving here with the Titans making some moves here. Coach Brian Daboll taking a couple of the Giants with him over there to Tennessee to work alongside Coach Robert Saleh to lead the way now with the Titans. Wan'Dale Robinson, 4 years, $70 million. He gets to go to the Titans, so he's reunited with his former former head coach and Brian Daboll. And then Jahan Dotson, the former Eagle, he goes to the Falcons on a 2-year, $15 million deal. And alongside the Falcons, also going and getting Tua Tagovailoa to be a part of their all-lefty quarterback room with Michael Penix Jr. Again, Atlanta going to need somebody to help run that offense with all these injuries that have happened to Penix in that quarterback room in Atlanta. They cut Kirk Cousins to save the money. So now Penix going to be coming off that torn ACL. Who knows when he's going to get back? He tore it in November. So again, timetable kind of leads him up to the season. So now you got Tua, you got Penix, you got two lefty quarterbacks, and somebody just kind of to take the lead for Atlanta as they get into the offseason into next year.
Man, they got the all blue tent team right there, man. Like, come on, man. You got two walking people in casts, essentially, man. Like
who starts more games next year, Tua or Penix? I think coming into the year they like Penix to be the guy if he's healthy, but who starts more games?
I'll probably still go with Penix.
Oh, gee, I don't know.
I mean,
Penix coming off the ACL tear, Jason. Third time that Michael Penix Jr. has torn his ACL in his career. A little bit worrisome.
Yeah, very much worrisome. I mean, we questioned the pick anyway when they already had Kirk Cousins signed as a free agent.
Yeah, what a draft that was.
What a draft that was. Because you had him go before McCarthy.
And then when you saw Cousins, how poorly he performed, you said, wow, they must have, they really pulled a good move there. Everybody doubted him at first, and then Penix came in and lit it up for the first couple games before that season.
Then you saw Cousins come at the end of the year and actually play like himself again. So it's like,
where does he go? I mean, we'll talk maybe a little bit about him later if we have to.
But no, Atlanta is going through a lot of issues right now. I mean, you signed to Penix is hurt, then switch gears for a second. You got the Falcons, you got the Hawks having to cancel the Magic City promotion that they have next week, man. Atlanta's, there's a lot of stuff going on in Atlanta, man. It's just not working in their favor right now. So the God's not shining down on Atlanta too pretty right now.
They are not. They go to get Jahan Dotson, though, and Tua Tagovailoa. So we'll see if that helps things down in Atlanta. But one of the big ones, and maybe the biggest, that broke right at 12:01 during the free agency start on Monday or yesterday, as you said, Jason, at the top of the show here. Kenny Walker, Super Bowl MVP for the Seattle Seahawks. He goes now to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I mean, no better fit for a running back and no better team that needed a running back. I mean, I can't think of a better marriage than Kenny Walker and the Kansas City Chiefs, and now going to be the guy to kind of be their bell cow in the run game that has really struggled in the last few years. And you can make the argument that's kind of the reason the offense has struggled in the last few years for Andy Reid.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes doesn't work without the play action.
You need it.
They need it. Kenneth Walker will be what they expected Edwards-Helaire and Pacheco to be together in one back. Powerful runner, again, also catch out the backfield, which gives you some outlets to where Mahomes has had to scramble 20 yards to throw 7, like he's doing the last couple of years.
And he's coming off now the 20 ACL, so you're going to have to ease him back into that as well. In the run game, again, two big things help your quarterback, right? A defense and a good run game. Those things will help you out.
However, what will the Chiefs do to address the need at wide receiver still?
We'll see. Maybe they have something in their back pocket here. But again, they re-signed Tyquan Thornton. Obviously, Rashee Rice, who knows, up in the air with the question marks. I think we need Xavier Worthy to take a step if you're Kansas City. Maybe Tyreek Hill reunion if he's coming off the injury. Eric Bieniemy back in Kansas City.
And then you lose Pacheco to the Lions.
To go back up, Jahmyr Gibbs, 1-year deal for Isaiah Pacheco. So he kind of takes over for David Montgomery, who was traded to the Texans for a 4th-round pick. How about that? You get a 4th-round pick for David Montgomery there if you're Houston. So, again, we talked about Etienne, 4 years, $52 million for him to the Saints, 3 years, $43 million for the Super Bowl MVP, and Kenneth Walker, maybe the big piece that Kansas City needs there in that offense in the run game. And again, when they had a good run game with Kareem Hunt back in the day, they were winning Super Bowls and had that run game going. Even McKinnon was great in that game down the stretch in the Super Bowls. They had a good run game. They had a lot of success. So we'll see if that gets them back on track down there. So now we have to talk a little bit now about the Philadelphia Eagles and what they did and did not do here, Jason. We have to. We definitely have to. It's part of the contract here, so let's get to it. We knew it, or at least I did coming in, and you might not notice it from the reaction from a lot of the Philadelphia fans, is there were going to be losses. That was the theme coming in. When you have guys as young and as talented as the Eagles do, a Jalen Carter, a Jordan Davis you just saw get extended, a Quinyon Mitchell, a Cooper DeJean, guys like that, and then you already pay guys like Saquon, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, those guys already locked up. It's going to be hard to keep. You can't keep everybody. That's the there's a salary cap. You just can't do it. It's not possible. So, again, Eagles lost some bodies here in the last few days. Has the people kind of a little bit nervous here. But I think, as expected, we'll see how it works out, though. That's a different story. But, again, we talked about it. No more exciting whites. We lose Reed Blankenship on the back end there.
Pour it out.
Kobe Dean at linebacker, fan favorite. Eagles loved him in the room, just didn't have the money to keep him. He goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. He gets his money, so I'm proud of him. He's been great for Philadelphia. And then you talk about some of the other pieces here. They are able to re-sign Jordan Davis. I think that was a big move there, so they're able to lock him up. Jalen Carter extension should be coming. But the big one that I think a lot of people thought was going to be returning to Philadelphia was Jalen Phillips. That was the one I thought. I mean, if you heard him talk during the regular season, he talked glowingly about how he loved his time in Philadelphia, wanted to be an Eagle, etc. But the Eagles, again, not able to match what Carolina gave him. At 4 years, $120 million. He's the highest paid player in free agency so far in the last couple of days. And the word around the league was that he was going to be an Eagle, that how he was going to work to bring him back, and he might be the only guy that comes back. Well, now they don't even get Jalen Phillips there as an edge rusher. And now the last 2 years, you lose Milton Williams, Sweat, and now you lose Jalen Phillips here on that front part of the defensive line. Some big losses there, but again, 4 years, $120 million. Eagles can't do that.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest loss outside of Mr. Exciting White himself, Blankenship. I mean, but I think Jalen Phillips.
He's not real money for Houston.
I think Jalen Phillips is the biggest loss, and you will see the defense affected like immediately by this loss. I don't think you can replace that in one season.
We'll see if they can. I mean, Vic Fangio has been the best, was assistant coach of the year this past year in the NFL. The top 2 scoring defenses in the last 2 years for Philadelphia, and you don't think that's going to be the case next year?
Not at all. You might go to the middle of the pack.
Oh, no, that wouldn't be good. Go to the middle of the pack. But again, defensive line going to have to find maybe guys like Jalen Hunt have to step up now. Nolan Smith, I think, is going to have to step up big time now that they lost Jalen Phillips. Got to stay healthy. And when he's healthy, I think Nolan Smith could be a difference maker.
I agree, but I want to switch to the offense for a second. Can A.J. Brown survive another season in Philly?
Well, that's right. Well, will he? Can he? 2 different questions here. And coming into the offseason, the right was there were 5 teams or a lot of teams that his camp had reportedly said he'd be okay with going to. And let's go down the list here. Chargers spent a lot of their money elsewhere. Doesn't know if they're going to have room to pay a big wide receiver now there. The Bills, they made their move. They went out and spent that second-round pick on DJ Moore, so they go get him. Then you look at some of the other teams here when all the money's being spent from the teams that he was listed. We talked about the Bills, the Chargers, but there's one team left, and that's the New England Patriots coming in that he was linked to, right? The odds in Vegas were down the middle. Eagles, Patriots, where would he play next season? He had the link with Mike Vrabel. Those two get along really well. It was kind of been the Patriots all along, right? That was kind of the team that if he got traded, that's where you expected him to go. But nothing yet. We hear the asking price is astronomical, so who knows if he's actually on the table. Again, odds in Vegas are split down the middle, Jason, here, whether he goes to Philadelphia or New England, and things have been getting tougher here because as you get deeper into free agency, the money starts to dry up and you start filling holes that you had on your team, and there might not be room for A.J. Brown here as we get deeper and deeper into free agency, but it's still very much a possibility as it stands right now. But before we got here today, they made a big move in the wide receiver room, did New England. They go out and they sign Romeo Doubs from Green Bay, 3 years, $60 million. They're giving Romeo $20 million a year. That's real wide receiver money.
That's number one money.
That's good money, and I think it's going to be an effective move. I think he's going to have a nice year in New England and Drake May next year.
I do too. I mean, he's been the most consistent receiver in Green Bay the past few seasons.
Yeah, I agree.
The health and just production on the field and everything, and the total package. Great guy in the locker room. No issues out of him. So that's going to be a huge void to fill in Green Bay, but a very great addition to New England, to a Super Bowl team.
They needed something, and after cutting Stephon Diggs, needed to add something to that wide receiver room.
Well, you had to cut Stephon Diggs. I mean, you had to. The weight of everything else that comes with him.
A lot going on.
You got to cut Stephon Diggs, and he disappeared in the Super Bowl. So I mean, you tried.
The different question is where he'll be next year, or whether or not it matters.
I think it matters.
He can make an impact a little bit still.
But he's also 32 years old now. So I mean,
he's getting there. Maybe a year or two left, right? For it to make a big impact for an offense. We'll see where he goes. I'll tell you, somebody that stayed home, Alec Pierce, one of the first deals broken once again on Monday in free agency. Big money for Alec Pierce. He had a phenomenal year this year. Was an ascending wide receiver in that offense with Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen in Indy. 4 years, $114 million, $28.5 million a year for Alec Pierce. And to clear up that money, they ship off Michael Pittman Jr. to the Steelers. So 2 different questions for you here, Jason, is how do you like Michael Pittman to the Steelers to be their number 2? Him and DK Metcalf now have individual contracts that are very similar, the same amount of time. So those two will be paired together as wide receivers in Pittsburgh. And then you talk about Indianapolis, and Alec Pierce gets his money. Was great with Daniel Jones, was even good with Phillip Rivers when he entered, and now they're paying him like a difference-making wide receiver in Indianapolis.
I like Pittman to Pittsburgh. His wife even said that she had a vision about him going to Pittsburgh and ends up getting traded to Pittsburgh. That's crazy in itself. But no, I think Pittman is actually going to end up being the number 1 in Pittsburgh. I feel like he's a better route runner than DK. And I think he has
better across the middle.
Better across the middle and more reliable hands than DK. So
who's going to be playing quarterback there next year, though?
That's the question. But they great pickup for Pittsburgh. But can't believe I just said that. Wow, that's egregious. But Pierce, whoever his agent is, needs to put on a Hamburglar costume right now. You
numbers,
stole all the money.
Numbers are there.
But you stole all the money.
So you think coming in next year, if they get Daniel Jones back healthy, you think he could be, they're paying him to be a top receiver in that offense?
But you're also banking on the fact of Daniel Jones being consistent for a second year.
That's right.
So you had to think about that.
Coming off that injury, tough one.
But also just Daniel Jones' career.
And they are
Has he ever put 2 good years together? Even from college to now, has he ever put together 2 consistent seasons?
No, because he hasn't been healthy 2 consistent seasons.
That's my point.
And again, we'll find out this year coming off a fractured fibula. And also he got the transition tag, so they are currently ongoing in negotiations to try to lock him up. They want him long term, and they're working to lock him up long term, so we'll see if that can happen over there in Indianapolis. And he'll have his guy to be with him there in Alec Pierce going into next season.
Free JT.
And we talk about the Raiders and all they were able to spend. I mean, tons of money for the Las Vegas Raiders here. They had $110 million, and they are certainly putting it to use. Quay Walker, the linebacker from Green Bay, who had a great start to his career but struggled as of late. He's heading there. Kwity Paye, the edge rusher here from Indianapolis, will be heading over there as well. We mentioned Tyler Linderbaum. Again, Nakobe Dean. They signed Jalen Naylor, Eric Stokes, the quarterback. A lot of moves here for the Raiders here to start a free agency, but that's kind of what we project. This is what we saw the Patriots do last year, and look at them. They were able to parlay that with an easy schedule and go all the way to the Super Bowl. So we'll see. I'm not saying the Raiders will make the Super Bowl year number 1. A lot of areas they need to improve on. But again, they are on the right track in terms of spending, et cetera, here. So now let's keep it moving and go and talk about another team here, and that is the Miami Dolphins. A new GM in Miami, and the GM or formerly of Green Bay, John Eric Sullivan, working under Brian Gutekunst in Green Bay, now will be the GM in Miami. And they brought over his defensive coordinator from Green Bay, Jeff Hafley, the new head coach for the Miami Dolphins. So 2 guys from Green Bay, front office and head coach or defensive coordinator, make their way now to Miami to run the show down there in Florida. And their first move was to bring in a familiar face, somebody that they've known for the past couple of years, and that is Malik Willis. So Dolphins had a need at quarterback after releasing Tua Tagovailoa. So they go out and get the big wild card of free agency and the big quarterback that a couple teams wanted, and that was Malik Willis. And when he was on the field here this year for Green Bay in absence when Jordan Love was out with injury, he looked really good. A couple big games. You would know firsthand what a game he had against the Baltimore Ravens down the stretch. He had some big-time moments. And again, small sample size, but when you watch him, he has the traits. He has a strong arm. He's now gotten a lot bigger, stronger. He's faster. He can run. The accuracy was there last year. You know, a guy coming out of Liberty that nobody really knew too much about. He thought he might go in the first round. He didn't. He slipped and fell in the draft. Titans never really gave him a shot. He goes to Green Bay with a respected offensive coordinator in Matt LaFleur. And look what he's blossomed into. But what do you think about right around $30 million, so a little bit more than what Justin Fields got last year to go to the Jets, kind of what everyone anticipated. But is the move right for Malik Willis down in Miami for both parties?
This was where I actually expected Kyler Murray to go if Minnesota wasn't an option.
And again, I think maybe Miami might have been a spot for him. I don't think it would have been the best for him to go to Miami, but I think you're right.
Malik Willis is hard to read.
That's the issue.
It's hard to read. He looks like Michael Vick one game, and
I think I'm
looks
in.
like somebody else the next. I think
I'm in.
But
I think I'm in on Malik
for the
Willis.
money, for the contract, why not? He's still young,
But the thing is also, you're coming off, and one thing, if I had to pick one thing that worries me, is you're coming out of an offense with LaFleur that, again, great play caller right in Green Bay, able to put your guys in a spot to succeed. So now you're coming over. Bobby Slowick had success with Houston C.J. Stroud his rookie year, but, wasn't an offensive coordinator last year. How is the offense going to look? Again, a lot of it, we were talking this before we went on the air, a lot of a quarterback success has to do with what's around him. Players, coaching, that matters so much more than anybody realizes. And again, he will have a different offensive coordinator down there in Miami. And again, when you talk about Hafley, who was the defensive coordinator in Green Bay, those were the guys that knew him in Green Bay when they came over, right? They're not offensive guys. So they're going to have to figure out that part of it. But I like Malik Willis. I think I'm in on Malik Willis this year. And again, I think if they put him in a reasonable, position to succeed with some of those weapons down there, I think he could have a good year for the Dolphins. How's the defense going to be at all that, though?
Yeah, but that's the question. Defense is the question. But for me, I think Willis might lead the league in rushing from the
quarterback
position next season.
Well, again, if you talk about it, last year obviously there was a number one leader. I can't be slipping my mind already, but I think Justin Herbert led the NFL in quarterback rushing last year. How about that? So we'll see. And again, love the Chargers going out and getting Mike McDaniel to run the offense. I was hoping the Eagles would somehow be able to bring him in, or Daboll would have taken either of those guys didn't quite get there. But McDaniel in L.A., I think the Chargers with Herbert, I think McConkey's going to get back on track this year. Hampton, if he's healthy at the running back position. And the biggest thing for L.A. is you get your tackles back. Two of the best in the game in Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. That changes everything in L.A.
Let's stay there, Chargers, because we got to talk about this.
And not a lot of splashing in free agency for the Chargers.
Why doesn't Justin Herbert get the smoke that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and everybody else gets? Justin Herbert deserves that same smoke. All the talent you have, and you have nothing to show for it on the field.
I will say this year, and again in past years, the offensive line killed him this year. You used your two best offensive linemen. They were injured across the offensive line.
No.
The defense was pretty good this year, though. No arguments there. The run game, Hampton was out for a majority of the year. Najee Harris goes down in week 1. Kamani Vidal was their leading running back for the 4 or 5 weeks, and he wasn't bad when he was in there. But I think the offense dealing with so many injuries, I think to me that's what the issue is.
Yeah, but every year we tout this guy, the next savior, and then nothing happens. Like I want the same smoke that other quarterbacks get. Herbert needs to feel that.
I think next year is the year for Justin Herbert. I think Mike McDaniel is going to transform that offense.
The year for what?
I think
to do what? To win a playoff game?
He might even be in the
to win a playoff
race.
game?
Might be the MVP race.
One game? You talking about one playoff game? And let's not forget the choke
Super
job.
Bowls in LA.
Let's not forget the choke job they had a few years ago against Jacksonville.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But again, who was the coach for them during that time? Brandon Staley. Thank God that experiment's over. But now they've got Mike McDaniel and Harbaugh. That's quite the combo. I think if that defense plays like it did this year, I think that offense is going to be explosive with Mike McDaniel, big Mike McDaniel.
Mac resigned for 1 year. So.
We'll see what happens there. Chargers don't have to get on him, but hey, what do you know? But now let's keep it rolling. As again, you talked about the salary cap space, and the Titans and Raiders, they piled it on there in terms of having money to spend, and they went out and they spend it. But before we move on here from Malik Willis, I think he's going to have a good year. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a great year. But one guy that hasn't found a new team, and we were talking about this off the air as well, Trey Hendrickson, who has been yearning to be a free agent. Last year, they had this long battle for a contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. Couldn't come to a deal, so they franchise tagged him, kept him there. He made his big money for 1 year. Now, finally, he is a free agent, and somebody you maybe expected to be signed right on Monday, the premier pass rusher of this class, but we've seen everybody else kind of go before him. Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. He leads the way there in pass rushers. Odafe Owe gets that big contract from the Commanders after going over from the Ravens to the Chargers to finish off his year last year. So Trey Hendrickson, though, Jason, still on the board. And again, with the production he puts out on the field, I get it because he's 31 years old, and that's the big reason nobody wants to sign him to a long-term deal, I guess. But when you look at his production on the field, those sack numbers are amongst the top 2 or 3 each and every season. If I'm a team that's trying to win now, I wouldn't hesitate to give him a few-year contract. Maybe the issue is he wants that big deal, and maybe that's the holdup.
Yeah, he's asking for between $30 and $45 million per season. He's got
a lot of pride.
He's not getting that.
He's got a lot of pride, and I don't know when that number is going to come down.
He's not getting that. That's what he asked for last year from Cincinnati. That's why the impasse took so long. He's not getting that. And at being 31, he probably only has a prime window of maybe 2 or 3 years left at that age anyway, at that position.
Again, when you think about it, people forget 31. 1, you forget he's 31, and 2, you forget how old 31 is. In
NFL terms, at that position, that's old. Like that's like paying a wide receiver at 30 a bunch of money. It's the same exact concept. So it doesn't happen that often. He needs to go on a 1-year prove-it deal,
which you basically did last year. What we thought with that franchise tag,
with the option for a 2nd year, but he's not getting any more than 3 years for anybody anyway.
But again, coming off the injury last year, right? You only played 7 games. That's kind of a big part of it. 4 sacks in those 7 games for the Cincinnati defense. That wasn't very good. But if you look at the sack numbers in 23, 17.5, and 24, 17.5, amongst the best in the league. So he is in the mix when healthy. But again, 31 years old is going to turn a lot of teams off. Who's going to be the win-now team that goes out and gets Trey Hendrickson on a short-term deal that really gives themselves a chance to make an impact? One of the teams I maybe would have thought coming in that needed it would have been the Baltimore Ravens, but they no longer need a pass rusher. And before we get into them, we have to start with the Harbaugh news. We haven't talked about it. Harbaugh, obviously no longer the coach of your Baltimore Ravens. He is with the New York Giants. We'll talk about how he pillaged those guys for some of their players here in a moment. But let's talk about Baltimore. Jesse Minter, obviously Declan Doyle, the offensive coordinator here. So a big switch up over there in Baltimore. No more Todd Monken. He's now the head coach with the Cleveland Browns. I want to get your opinion on that there as well. But how about this? They move on from Harbaugh. They were never very aggressive in the trade market when Harbaugh was there. They spend 2 first-round picks, and they go out and they get a game wrecker in Max Crosby. So again, there it is on your screen. They trade for Max Crosby, 2 first-round picks.
Welcome.
I think he fits that early 2000s Ravens mold, right? For that defense, he's a game wrecker. He is a guy that, with that tenacity, he plays like his hair's on fire. Just somebody that changes the game. One of the, if not the best pass rushers. I think Garrett and then Crosby number 2 would be me, right? For your rankings, is that would you have him there, the best pass rushers in the league?
I don't know. I might have to put T.J. Watt above him still, man.
Well, I would too, but the injuries, I don't know with the age and stuff.
And that's saying a lot as a Ravens fan. But what he does every year.
Okay, I agree with you there. I'm with you there. But now you get him, right? It was a position that you guys haven't had, or a production that you guys haven't had in years and years. We talked about double-digit guys, and you said Kyle Van gave you about 12 or so last time out. But this is a game changer. One, what do you think of the aggressiveness the Ravens to spend those 2 first-round picks? How do you feel about the move?
About time. About time you spend some money.
Yeah.
About time.
And was it a Harbaugh thing? Is that why you didn't before?
Yes. Harbaugh's voice was bigger than people would know in the locker room and in the draft room and as far as business dealings.
I think so too.
The Ravens have never traded a first-round pick for anything. And 2?
Sounds like the Steelers.
So I'll put it like this. The Ravens are picking at 14 this year. Mm-hmm. With this draft, you didn't know what you're probably going to get at 14 anyway. So to be able to do this year's pick and next year's first-round pick for a guy like Max Crosby, who was still in his prime at 28, and he signed his deal with the Raiders last year, so you get him at 3 years on his current deal, it's a win-win. And, I'm not too worried about the pick from this year. I'm not. And then next year, that first-round pick hopefully will be a lower between 28 and 32.
But again, like you said,
hopefully it'll be
you would imagine,
be a lower third of the draft.
That's why
pick.
I never have issues with those good teams trading their picks. I never do. And again, first round pick is great. It's first round pick, but again, same thing with the Rams. If they're able to now get Trent McDuffie, same thing here. I think it's a no-brainer move for again a production
Desperate
that the Ravens have desperately needed. Absolutely.
This proves win now, but also
win now.
You got to think about it. The Ravens are known for drafting well and signing key free agents. So this is okay. Like to go out and make a splash. The last time we made a splash this big for a big name was when we really got Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and before that, I couldn't tell you what the biggest one was.
You really can't. So, and Derrick Henry was older when we got him, but he still was producing. So it's still a big level.
Is, yeah.
But this is our first actual.
Cost me a fantasy championship this year.
This is the Ravens' first actual chance at a guy in their prime coming to Baltimore. Usually get the over the hill guys who have a little bit in tank level. This is a guy who's, again, 28 years old, already like a 3 or 4 time Pro Bowler, if I'm not mistaken, already at 28 in his prime. And then you can't discredit that. And when you can throw out there with him and Matabike, you still have Roquan, you still have Trenton Simpson, you still have Starks and Kyle Hamilton, who was the best safety in the league.
He is.
He is.
Malachi Starks, like you said, getting better.
And getting better. And you still have Wiggins and Humphrey. You still have a decent secondary to work with. So, and they were hurt last year too. So a healthy Ravens defense the whole season looks a lot different than a healthy Lamar the whole season looks a lot different too.
Yeah, it's going to be a different year, you would imagine.
But the losses that we had, they're big losses. They're big losses.
Same thing with the Eagles. And again, I think they're going to be able to replace some of those guys. Obviously, maybe Andrew Nakuba going to be starting there in the back end, taking over for Reed Blankenship. Jahad Campbell's going to have to step right in for Nakobe Dean. That was the reason, obviously, you let Nakobe Dean walk, is because you have Jahad Campbell sitting right there. But again, defensive line, Jalen Carter, does he get an extension? There's a lot of rumors going around about teams inquiring about Jalen Carter. Nothing, on the fact that the Eagles trying to trade him or engaging with other teams, but teams are making calls after the Jordan Davis extension with all the rumors, etc. But again, I don't think he's going anywhere. I would not let him go anywhere. But we'll see what happens with Jalen Carter.
But the Ravens' losses, losing likely to Harbaugh and the Giants.
I was going to the Giants. Let's talk about the Giants.
Crazy.
And again, Isaiah Likely, and I want to get, before we dive into all of them, but let's talk quickly about what the Giants did. They go out and they get Isaiah Likely, 3 years, $40 million, one of their first moves in free agency, as you see here. And when he's been healthy and targeted, He's been electric at the tight end position, almost as if a wide receiver tight end hybrid. They go out and they trade for the punter Jordan Stout, one of the best in the league, 3 years, $12 million. They go out and get Greg Newsome the second, a 1-year deal for him for $8 million. Sign the safety Ardarius Washington to a 1-year deal.
Another Raven.
And they get Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker, 3 years, $36 million deal. They re-signed Jermaine Illuminor at offensive tackle, a big move. I didn't think they were going to re-sign him. I thought he might have been heading somewhere differently. But 2 questions for you now here, Jason, as we have breaking news hitting the desk right now. Cameron Hayward, a 1-year extension with the Steelers, so good for him. And then the Eagles, a 1-year deal with veteran tight end Johnny Munt, with Dallas Goedert potentially on the move. Johnny Munt, great blocking tight end. He comes in for the run game there in Philly. But biggest thing for me, Jason, was Isaiah Likely. I've been waiting for Isaiah Likely to get his opportunity for years.
When
he plays, yep, exactly. When he plays with the Ravens and he was targeted by Lamar Jackson, he had huge games in those instances. And early in the offseason, or I think towards the end of the regular season, one of the most shocking moves to me came from your Baltimore Ravens, re-signing Mark Andrews. Not only just re-signing him, Jason, 3 years, and they gave him real money again. I want to say 3 years, 30 to 39 million, somewhere in that range. One, how do you feel about that move? And one, when you do that, you obviously move on from Isaiah Likely, who I thought was a phenomenal prospect in Baltimore. One, how do you feel about Mark Andrews returning on a 3-year deal at his age, and then Isaiah Likely moving on to follow your old head coach in John Harbaugh?
I will tell you why Mark Andrews was re-signed.
Leader?
Not just that. If you don't re-sign Mark Andrews...
Sorry to hold you off here, Jason. Another Raven is making his way to the Giants here, and the fullback, Pat Ricard,
oh my
will
God.
head to the Giants.
What is going on here?
1-year deal.
What is going on
Sorry
here?
to cut you off, Jason.
What? The best blocking fullback in football? The only fullback in football. What is going on
They're
here?
stealing all of Jason's guys here live on the air.
And to the Giants at that.
Hey, it works for the Eagles. At least they're not in the NFC
I
East.
mean, I guess they're trying to get us back for that Super Bowl win in 2000, but still, come on, man.
But sorry to cut you off. Back to Likely.
Likely? No. Likely is a number one.
And you talking about Andrews and him re-signing.
Yeah, so Andrews re-signing was the key for Lamar coming back. I think.
You really think so?
If you let Andrews go, I think Lamar forces a trade.
Really? That's a pretty bold thing. Are they that close? What's that relationship?
They came in the rookie year together.
Yeah, and again, I know that him and Baker were really close during their time at Oklahoma.
And when you look at the QB tight end connections in all-time in NFL history, touchdowns and stuff.
They're up there.
Their numbers, they're up there.
I just for him then that's a lot of money to give an old tight end like that, who again was almost abysmal for the first half of the season here down the stretch. If I'm the Ravens, again, Mark Andrews, great leader, great to that locker room, culture builder. I would have kept Likely.
And not losing Likely, we lost Charlie Kohler as well. So
That's
no
right.
Tight end, no TE room.
Great blocking tight end, Charlie Kohler.
And he can catch
big
too.
time. And
When he actually got routes, he can really catch the ball. So, but man, the Giants are building a sneaky good roster with Coach Harbaugh.
So in the NFC East, that offense can be looking good. I love Isaiah Likely. I think if he is targeted, but here's the thing again, he's going to be the one. But I know we're trending towards a 2 tight end league, 12 personnel, whatever, what have you. But now they add him because Theo Johnson's been effective for that offense so far. He's a good tight end in his own right. So now you got Likely, you got Theo Johnson. I'm eager to see how that works with 2 tight ends. But then again, everybody's running 2 tight ends now this late in today's NFL. So I don't think it's ever going to be an issue. But again, I hope Likely gets the targets he deserves, and I think he probably will with Jackson Dart and the Giants.
Yeah, and with that Ricard signing, man,
On the air, got you live on the air.
So that Ricard signing means that once Scatterbull is actually healthy, they're going to be saving I formation.
Oh God, when's the last I formation? You don't see a lot of that nowadays. You don't see that.
I formation with Ricard blocking for Scatterbull, and they both basically almost the same size. I was like, oh my God, who do you tackle? It's kind of like it's going to look like the old Tampa Bay offense with Allstott.
Larry Zonka action over there.
Like it's gonna look like Allstott, 90s Tampa Bay with Allstott.
And speaking of fullbacks, while we're talking about it, obviously Miami went out and got Mike McDaniel's old friend, the Chargers went out and got Miami and Mike McDaniel's old friend, the fullback Alec Ingold.
Yeah.
So both big fullbacks getting some deals. I think Kyle Juszczyk might have re-signed a 1-year deal. Maybe off-season for fullbacks.
Hey,
Are we getting back to the fullback?
Juszczyk, come back to Baltimore if you can, man, please.
Wow, who remembers that he was all the way back there, with them back in that situation. So a lot going on there. We've been through a bulk of most of the big-time moves here. Is there any moves or any teams you have as winners and losers here, Jason? I know we talked about a lot of them. What was maybe your favorite move of the offseason, or so far the start of the offseason, and could have been one we already talked about? I know you mentioned you love Rico Dowdle heading to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think that's the best move so far. Rico Dowdle to Pittsburgh is the best move. You get a guy who can pretty much do everything. from running back position, and he goes to a team that has a very solid offensive line.
A better
line than what he's played behind the last couple of years, even in Dallas and in Carolina. So you get a stable line in Pittsburgh, then the run behind, and I think the sky's the limit for Rico Dowdle in Pittsburgh. And my number 2 signing would be, again, Mike Evans going to San Fran. I don't think you can underestimate how big that signing
West is going to be
loaded
a gauntlet next year.
Loaded
I'm
again.
telling you, and again, I do expect the NFC East to get back to it. I know we didn't talk a little bit about the Commanders, but tough year for a guy, Jaden Daniels, last year at Washington with the injuries. Man. And, it's funny because last time we all sat up here a few years ago was, Caleb was struggling and, all this stuff was going on, and Jaden Daniels was the anointed one. And then people forget really quickly, right? You have one bad year, you deal with some injuries. Now people starting a little bit write off Jaden Daniels a little bit. I think maybe the RG3 stuff has a little bit to do with it. But again, I'm fully in on Jaden Daniels. I think if he's back healthy next year, I think he'll be fine. How do you feel about Jaden Daniels and what he did?
And Scary Terry wasn't healthy last year.
Exactly. They didn't have a lot going on.
But and Debo showed up at the end of the year. But
yeah, injuries.
Injuries.
And how can you, for them to bring him back down the stretch like that for meaningless games to play?
That was silly.
That was ridiculous.
That was silly.
Absolutely. That's malpractice. You cannot do that.
That was absolutely silly.
Insane.
But I think year 3 would be a better year for him. Obviously, it has to be. You can't go anywhere.
Go to the NFC Championship of rookie year. Yeah. That's the thing about a quarterback player for expectations, right? Yeah. And when you go to the Super Bowl your rookie year, or you go to the NFC Championship your rookie year, people had those expectations coming in for year 2. And when you deal with some of that adversity as they dealt with this year, people are going to remember that more, and I think so too. I think he'll get back next year. Obviously love what the Bears did this year, and Caleb Williams, they finally get a play caller in there, and I sat here coming in with the Shane Waldron talk, and I said before the season that you cannot expect anything out of Shane Waldron in that offense. They didn't. Now they get Ben Johnson, one of the best play callers, and that Bears offense was humming this year.
The Bears are a dark horse Super Bowl pick for next season.
They made some big moves in the offseason as well. Some big defensive moves.
If I had $10, I might go on Bet Rivers and put some money on them just in case.
I like that there. Again, they started to really figure it out. I love Colston Loveland. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. We thought that coming out. And once he got healthy, he was a huge impact there in Chicago. And we mentioned Kyler Murray maybe going over to Minnesota. The Packers are going to be in the mix again next year. So what do you think about that? Micah Parsons obviously traded the Packers. They were in big-time win-now mode and once again fizzled out towards the end of the season. But what don't you like about Green Bay?
Jordan Love.
I don't know if he's the issue. I like Jordan Love. But again, you're right. We haven't seen it.
He chokes in big games, man. I don't think
what was that playoff game this year? I thought he played well in the playoff game.
He played decently, but I think he has hot and cold moments.
He does.
Too many.
He's a gunslinger.
And
1-3 in his 4 playoff games, I believe, here for Jordan Love.
He's more Lamar than he is Josh, if you understand what I'm saying, with playoff records so far. So,
Man, we didn't. So speaking of which, we didn't get to all that, but let's now talk about the Bills. I just want to get your opinion. I know we're far removed and we're going off on a tangent here. How about that play with Brandon Cooks in the divisional round with the Broncos? I just want to get what you thought about the interception and all those calls down the stretch, pass interference. And again, do you think the Bills got robbed in that game?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, my God. I was screaming at the time. I couldn't, again, no horse in the race there, but in the playoffs, how on earth do you do that?
Of course.
If we would have had a show that following that next day on a Monday, my head might have exploded. It's
supposed to be Josh Allen's year. You don't call that.
They called 3 different ones.
Yeah, you don't call, but that one was like.
The interception, I thought it was a catch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my God. How, for that many people to think that was not a catch, I thought was alarming. I don't,
on the ground, rolled over, back on the ground.
What's changed? It's always been, obviously what is a catch, whatever, but that's always been that way.
But I always thought that 1 cheek equals 2 feet.
Exactly. That's it.
I
thought it was. And then I do blame Brandon Cooks. I thought he should have got up and played initially. He kind of was all sorry when he got. I think that had something to do with it. He didn't play into it, but I thought it was a catch. And when you go back and you watch it again,
the replay
looked like a catch. I just said we're getting off on a tangent here, but it was supposed to be Josh Allen's year. It was not, and even worse, Bo Nix did not play in the AFC Championship game. So we'll see if Buffalo can rebound, and one of the ways they can do that, they needed a receiver. They were in on A.J. Brown. Talks didn't go the way they wanted. The Eagles asking too much, so they pivot, and they go out and they get DJ Moore. Joe Brady was the offensive coordinator in Carolina back when he had a big year a few years ago when he was with the Panthers. So they go back and they get him. They spend a second-round pick to do so. Would have been maybe a first-round pick to get A.J. Brown. So what do you think about DJ Moore being the new number 1 in Buffalo? Is that a big move for the offense? Is that a needle-moving move?
No.
No. So let me ask you this then. The ceiling doesn't change for Buffalo now?
No, it doesn't. Well, actually, I think it's lower.
Lower? From DJ Moore, you think?
I don't think they make a lot of noise.
Are you talking about like overall? Or
Overall.
I'm saying DJ Moore specifically, though, that move in particular.
No, I mean, DJ Moore is cool, but the way you treated Keon Coleman last year, like, that's disrespectful. Like, I would ask for a trade right now if I were Keon Coleman. Like, no way the owner.
And again, there was some stuff off the field, though, that, you know.
But still, you don't call your guy like that.
No, absolutely not. I agree. Yeah, 100%.
You don't.
It's ridiculous.
You're paying this guy. You call him out like that. And
I don't even care what you're paying.
And this guy is young. He's like, what, 23? 24? Like, you don't do that to a young star who you invested in, supposedly, and now you go this route.
I agree.
Blatant disrespect. He has to leave. He has to go. I wouldn't report to mini camp or anything. I would get my way out of there.
I think DJ Moore, though, I think he's having a big year in Buffalo. just due to the situation. I think Josh Allen is that good.
Well, I mean,
and they need somebody to throw to. They haven't had a go-to guy since Diggs left. I think DJ Moore is going to be that guy.
I mean, Josh Allen force feeds.
I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 player,
no,
receiver, but he's going to be that number one. He's exactly right. I think he's going to put up his numbers, and I think it's going to be good. They needed somebody like this. I do think it's a nice move. Do they win the AFC East next year, or the Patriots go back-to-back?
Man, you can flip a coin in that.
Are you a believer in New England? A lot of people highlighting the fact that they had a worse schedule in the league this year, the easiest, and then when they finally started to play some tough teams down the stretch, they got kind of beat up a little bit, couldn't really move the ball offensively, barely beating a Denver without Bo Nix and then getting shellacked in the Super Bowl there. I think it had a lot to do with Drake May's shoulder. I think he was really hurt. I think that affected the play, but I also do think that they're going to come back down to earth a little bit next year with that champion schedule coming out of the AFC East.
I think the AFC East is going to be wide open. I don't know why I feel that way.
And wait a minute, as in wide open, you mean with the Jets and the Dolphins in the mix?
Listen, that division is so crazy right now. I wouldn't be surprised, but the Jets, nah.
Jets got to go into tank mode, right? Aaron Glenn, job was on the line this year, so he's definitely on the hot seat heading into next year. He will now take over the play calling on the defense. He said, I'm bringing it upon myself. Jets were the only team in NFL history this year, Jason, to not have an interception.
Yeah.
To not have one.
All year, one.
To not fall into one? That's hard to do to not have. I mean, I couldn't believe that.
You trade your best corner during the season.
But I'm saying to not accidentally have an interception is remarkable.
I mean, but you traded Sauce. What do you think is going to happen?
That'll never happen again. I promise you. That'll never happen again.
It's the Jets. It could.
You're right. To the non-Jets, it'll never happen again. So Aaron Glenn, he's taking over play calling duties. He's going to run the defense. The whole reason he got the job in the first place. So he will now take over the defensive play calling duties there with the Jets. But again, they made a move today. They go out and they trade for Geno Smith, the reunion, as they get a 7th-round pick, and Geno and the Raiders get a 6th-round pick. Geno restructured his contract. He's back with the Jets.
All right, folks. Good night.
Oh, man.
Geno, seriously?
I don't know. I guess they wanted to got somebody in there, like culture builder.
So what does Justin Fields do now?
Get Geno food? Which is horrible to say. I don't know. Justin Fields may be better than Geno right now.
They might want to try Justin Fields out in another position, man, at this point, man. Cause he's not getting back on the field now.
Oh, let me ask you. We got a statement coming in from the Raiders here.
He's not getting back in, man.
Oh, my goodness. I have to break. Put your phone down. Put your phone down. Don't even look. Put your phone down. Oh, my goodness. This is real. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
We're going to break this on the air. I hate to break your heart. This is tough. The Raiders fools have just released a statement. The Baltimore Ravens have backed out of our trade agreement with Max Crosby. We will have no further comment at this time.
What in the sweet?
Whoa. What?
Wow.
I've never seen anything like this in the league, at least in recent memory.
Wow.
The Raiders releasing a statement. The Max Crosby trade is off. No further comment, so we're going to await something to come out here. I'm sure there's a reason, whether that be medical or some other reason. We spent half the show talking about the Ravens and the defense and the additions. What's going through your head now? I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite like this.
I mean, with the losses we've already talked about on air, that's I don't know what, man, can I go home now?
I know, Jason, I'm sorry. This is kind of crazy right now.
What's going on? I mean, that's...
Wow, yeah, we got to put a headline up on the screen there.
There's something to that. That's
so we're going to wait. I'm going to do a little bit of research here now, but just a statement out of nowhere being released by the Las Vegas Raiders.
What in the world?
Well, we're going to have to figure something out here.
He was on like a social media tour saying that he wanted to retire as a Raider, and They didn't really want to leave Vegas, so it's not that
he was
surprising.
Crying on the air now.
It's not that surprising, but still, like.
So it was the Ravens' choice, it looks like, to back out, as we mentioned. So I wonder, again, what the reason was there. I would imagine maybe it has something to do with medical. You never know, but wow, it's crazy to decipher. And now let me ask you this. Now that the Ravens backed out, is he staying now? Is he a Raider? Or obviously with whatever comes out, it's going to affect other teams.
He's a Raider.
No more? I mean, now everybody, you see the fans on Twitter, everybody's asking their team to go get him now.
He's a Raider. He's a Raider, and with that move happening, Trey Henderson comes to Baltimore.
Hey, there it is.
You
have to sign one-year deal, right? One-year deal.
You have to do that deal now.
You have to, yeah, one-year deal. I don't hate that for them either.
You have to do that deal now. Like, you can't.
Man.
You have to do that deal now.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I'm glad we had that news for you live on the air, though. That is
it's on my face.
Getting yes, you did an initial reaction there. I think I can't wait till we talk about it off the air here in a few moments. But that is crazy. No Max Crosby now to the Ravens. Again, if you're tuning in live, you heard that live in real time.
Live on air, man. This is real time.
Ravens backing out of the Max Crosby deal. They will retain their 2 first-round picks, it looks like. And again, we have to see with the trickle effect in the league and how this unfolds and whether or not, obviously nothing was done. The new year doesn't begin till tomorrow afternoon, so that's when all the deals officially will be, put into place and signed. So that's why they're able to do this right now. But interesting. And again, we will wait further information because obviously something's going to come out here shortly.
Yeah, it will. But wow, speechless.
I think we're all a little bit speechless here, but I think you're right. And again, if we want to clip this, I think we could be predicting the future. I think Trey Henderson, as you said, if this doesn't get worked out, and maybe it does. We've seen instances where teams have run into issues and then they've worked it out, et cetera. We expect this to work out, blah, blah, blah. So maybe he does somehow become a Raven by tomorrow afternoon. But if he does not, I think Trey Henderson, I'm with you. And I think the Ravens, I think they need him. As you said, I think they got to go get him now.
I don't see the Crosby trade happening again for Baltimore. I don't see it. I mean, the blessing is you do two first-round picks back. I mean,
wow.
But still, yikes.
That's again live on the air.
Wow.
Crazy here is the Ravens backing out of that deal again. That's all over the place now, and we had a chance to break that down for you. So we'll see what happens with Max Crosby. Again, we mentioned game wrecker. Baltimore's going to have to now pivot, and they're going to have to go elsewhere. Again, Trey Henderson, be on the watch for that.
Yeah.
But again, maybe he stays a Raider now. It's hard to say. I find it hard to believe, as you mentioned, that he's going to go somewhere else after all this.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere else.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens there. But wow, we're going to bring us then now. That should take us to our Dennis question of the evening, kicking off a new season, 0-0. We'll see if Matthew, Jason, and myself can stay atop of Dennis here throughout this year in our new years. We begin here on DETV Sports. Dennis, you have a question for us this evening. Who was the first NFL player to sign a $100 million contract? That is actually a good question here with the theme of NFL free agency. And gosh, I wouldn't even know what year that would have been.
I don't know the first ever signed one, but
right? Gotta be a quarterback.
I know the first quarterback to get back-to-back $100 million contracts. That was Vic. But the first one ever, I don't know.
$100 million contract. It's got to be somebody. I mean, what are you thinking about? Early 2000s quarterback?
It's 2000s, yeah. Was it Vic the first time?
Let's go with Michael Vick.
Who was it? Brett
Favre. I was early 2000s. We were right, though. We were right there.
But $10 million a year.
We were deceived. So that was a good one.
But again, the first quarterback to sign, the first player to sign 2 consecutive $100 million contracts was Michael Vick. He signed one in Atlanta before the dogfighting charges. Then we got to Philly, played there 1 year, signed another $100 million deal. But wow, Brett Favre, that's a good one, man.
Yeah, that's a good one, Dennis. You take a 1-0 lead, we will give you that. And that was Dennis's question of the day. And now do we have a topic of the day potentially, Dennis, for as we close out here this evening? Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
How about that?
Wow.
And here we go. We talked about it, a lot of it, but before we get out, we're going to answer one more time. Which NFL team improved the most during free agency, in your opinion, Jason McCall?
The obvious answer is probably going to have to be the Raiders.
I think so, too. That's where I would have went. I would have went with the Raiders.
Raiders won, and then
most to spend, and they certainly spent it.
Raiders won, and then Rams, too.
Yeah, you're right there. And in terms of efficiency and when you look at it through in a vacuum, love what the Rams did. Yeah. I think they assured the only weakness they had there on the back end. They got to figure out special teams, but I think that a lot of that can be coaching and some other bodies there that they mix in. But they really assured up that back end. They get one of the best cornerbacks in the league. They heard it on the outside, and now they are seen to be taken care of. I love what the Rams. They're going to be my top team, I think. Obviously, you talk about the Raiders, but they're going to be up there for me.
And clearly, the biggest losers right now are the Ravens.
And it wasn't that way about 5 to 10 minutes ago.
No, a big loser either way.
One of the winners 5 to 10 minutes ago.
No, winner in Crosby, but overall, losing all those starters?
Yeah, but that was...
We're losing Baltimore was losing starters.
That was a move to get Crosby that put antennas up around the league. That was the Bills, the Chiefs, everybody.
But you saw my face
we have to do something
when you reported about the Ricard move. So
yes,
that's losing starters.
Welcome to Philadelphia, too. We're going to see what both of our birds can do next year.
Birds of a feather, not trying to flock together, but my God.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but what a way to get back started here. A new season on DETV Sports, recapping the Super Bowl and free agency. Don't forget the draft, a little over a month away. We'll be back with our draft preview yet again in April. So make sure you're able to check that out. And then, of course, the NBA playoffs coming up in a month, and then the World Baseball Classic currently underway today as well. So as we round off, that's right, USA. Special thanks to Dennis, as always. He takes the 1-0 lead in his questions of the night. Jason, we'll be going closing comments here as we are back in action. Matthew, we miss you. We'll see you next week. Jason, what do you think? Closing comments on a Tuesday evening.
EDC, what are we doing, man? EDC, what are we doing? Please help us out. Please do something.
Oh,
please.
Man, what a timing on the show for that to happen again. That's just absolutely crazy. Max Crosby, again, that deal. I don't know. Eric DeCosta, what are we doing? Again, it was rumored that he lived next to John Harbaugh, and that didn't work out either. So Isaiah Likely, gone. Ricard, gone.
Crosby, gone.
Max Crosby didn't even get there, and he's already gone. But that's going to do it for us here on a Tuesday evening. We're going to be back again next week. And make sure you tune in here with some more free agency stuff going on. And again, NBA is starting to heat up as well. Or maybe the Thunder will just win every championship for the next 5 years.
Nope, JT's back. Go Celtics.
There you go. I should have known. There you go. Not looking good for the Sixers. Maxey's out 3 weeks. But we will see you again next week. Thanks for tuning in. New season here on DETV Sports, live from the studios in Wilmington. We'll see you next week.